Yes. Good evening, Zaga. Yaga. You know the vibes. You're rocking out with yours truly, Showtime Sizzle. I am the Source. We got a little something special in store for y'all tonight. You know, yesterday was the ESPYs, right? And um, I was looking at some of the awards on the ESPYs, and I kind of was inspired. Shout out to D Ray Promotions in the building, World Combat Sports as well. Yes, I was inspired, right? I was inspired by what transpired with what transpired on the ESPYS in regards to Tyson Fury, right? Tyson Fury, phenomenal year. You know, he the trilogy with Wilder. Then he knocked out Dillian White. But they gave him Fighter of the Year. So when I seen that, let me just check my levels, right? Check my levels. Now, when I seen that they had gave Tyson Fury Fighter of the Year, I said, man, I gotta do. Yeah. Tyson Fury. Oh man, we sound so good in the Source Radio. This is the Source Radio Lab now, right? So yes, they gave Tyson Fury Fighter of the Year, and I was like, man, what a travesty. You know what I'm saying? You had Jamel Charlo, coming undisputed. You also had Devin Haney becoming undisputed. Neither one of them got Fighter of the Year, but one of those guys is my Fighter of the Year, and the other one I made a special award for. I'm going to get into all those awards. I also got Trainer of the Year. I also have Manager of the Year, well, Executive, however you want to call it, Executive Manager of the Year. You know, a couple of awards, and we're going to get into that. Just waiting for a couple people to fill in before I get to gibberish talk. But yeah, so I seen that. I said, let me get a little creative and do my own. My own. You see, the Source Excellence Awards, right? Um, like I said, you knew Charlo definitely wasn't getting a ESPN ESPY anything from ESPN. Number one, when he won his became undisputed, he won at a ESPN employee extra hard on his, you know, panel. So ESPN definitely wasn't going to give him an award. But over here at the Source, we took care of him. He did get an award over here. You know, he might have not got the award that he wanted, but it was a toss-up, like I said, between him and Devin Haney for the Fighter of the Year. And I gave the Fighter of the Year to Devin Haney, man. And I'm going to go into why Devin is my Fighter of the Year. 23 years old, right? It was a toss-up between him and Charlo. I was going back and forth. And like the Charlos and me, we're not on the best terms, but you got to give people their props. So it was a toss-up. But Charlo got an award too. But the Fighter of the Year definitely is Devin Haney. 23 years old, becoming undisputed in a mere of 7 years. You got to remember, this is a guy, right? And that's what I took all this into consideration, right? Source experience, man. He's the Fighter of the Year. Here's a kid, well, a guy now, 23 years old. But he came into the game 16, fighting in Mexico. Built his record up. Showbox, right? Went from Showbox, had all kind of opportunities, all kind of deals on the table. Could have went with Mayweather Promotions. Could have went the PBC route. Took it to Matchroom, right? Became a WBC champion. Caught a lot of flack because he chased down Lomachenko, worked his way up to becoming the mandatory, and Lomachenko took the franchise, and Devin Haney had to take the WBC belt, and he was ridiculed, called the email champion. He's not a real champion. He didn't fight nobody. Whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop, right? But last year, this year, however you want to look at it, was his year, man. That's why he is the fighter of the year. He went over to Australia and became undisputed champion. Legitimate undisputed. No debating it now. He has all the hardware. First time ever in the 4-belt era. And he has accomplished this at 23. So that's the things that I took into consideration. Yes, Charlo is going to be awarded an award also. But I couldn't give him fighter of the year because I said, okay, yes, they both accomplished becoming undisputed. Both of them making history. First undisputed in their both weight classes, respectively. But I said Charlo is a lot older. Devin is still what you would consider green in many aspects, but he's far from green. He's an undisputed champion. So I had to give him fighter of the year. And it dawned on me watching ESPN, the ESPYs, and they gave Tyson Fury fighter of the year. You know? Now, I felt bad that I didn't give Charlo fighter of the year. So what I gave Charlo was comeback fighter of the year. You say, how could he be a comeback fighter? His last fight with Castano was declared a draw. Some people, including myself, thought he might have lost that fight. You know? Thought he might have lost that fight. Thus, why he is the comeback fighter of the year, because he left no doubt in the rematch, securing a knockout, thus making history. So he is my comeback fighter of the year. That is his award right there, excellence. It's an eagle, not a lion, but, you know, fly like an eagle. Yes, he is my comeback fighter of the year. Executive manager of the year. And I got this, right? Shout out to the Boxing Voice. That's probably one of my favorite shows right now. A lot of other, I watch a lot of YouTube channels, but I just love where the Boxing Voice has taken it on a corporate level. They're more, you see the growth in how they're giving it up. But the other day, Bill Haney was on there. And I was like, yeah, Bill was talking about being coach of the year. He has a great argument for that, right? You know, the consensus popular pick is always Derrick James. We'll get to that too. We're going to get to that, right? But Bill Haney definitely gets manager, executive of the year from me. It's no argument. Like, you can't even debate it because, like I just said, he has navigated his son's career from 16 to 23, a 7-year span, from fighting in bars and what we consider holes in the wall, the Chitlin circuit. That's what, you know, my team, that's what we consider that, the Chitlin circuit. He went from fighting the Chitlin circuit to now he is the man of men, undisputed champion. So hands down, Bill Haney is the executive / manager of the year. How he has managed and navigated his son's career. Hands down, he got it, man. You got to give people their flowers, man. Whether you got to give them their flowers when they do. See, that's our problem, right? As and I'm going to play something what Master P said when he was on Charlemagne in the morning show, you know, Power 105. See, that is our problem. Us. When I say us, I mean our people, our culture. Instead of bigging people up or giving them their flowers, what do? We hate. We be jealous, you know? We jealous. We hate, you know? And it shouldn't be that way. That's why, like I said, Bill Haney, hands down. Like, if he was Keith Conley, that's another big-time manager. Or David McWaters, another big-time manager. Or my Uncle Jay, James Prince, another big-time manager. If they accomplished what Bill did, they would get the award. So why have to give it to Bill, man? Hell of a job, man. Navigating his son's career. Coach of the year. Coach of the year, man. You know, the consensus, like I said, the consensus pick is always Derrick James, right? That's the casuals, the popular pick, because the narrative they push. Oh, he has an undisputed champion, a unified champion. But he also has fighters that lose, that you guys never want to highlight those guys. Like, He took over Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown got stopped by King Arthur, right? He also has Frank the Ghost Martin, who one of Derrick James's pedigrees. He sits down good on his punches, very good. All Derrick James fighters are good at that. I can't take that away from him as far as coaching. But Frank Martin has a lot of flaws. See, I'm a real boxing guy. I'm in the gym. Like, I'm gonna probably go to the gym in an hour. I'll be in the gym. You know, like Frank Martin has a lot of flaws. Jackson Martinez, if I said his name right, he exposed some of those. Even though he got stopped in the 10th round, Frank Martin has a lot of flaws, and that's the reason why they're moving him the way they're moving him. And that's the reason why they want him to fight the certain type of fighters that they want him to fight. So I couldn't give Derrick Coach of the Year just based off of 2 fighters. You know, you got to look at the whole body of work. My Coach of the Year, and I want to say rest in peace. He's no longer with us, but he is still with us through his sons, is Gary Russell Sr. and also Bozy Ennis. These are 2 fathers that have taken their sons from the amateurs to greatness in the pros. To greatness in the pros. Yes, greatness. Boz Ennis, Pop Ennis, like I like to call him. Boots is right there knocking at the door. He's the IBF mandatory challenger for Earl Spence. He has guys like Terrence Crawford now mentioning him, saying that he's willing to fight him, if not now or later when it makes sense. See, he's on the verge. So I have to look at that and take that into consideration. When you have the big dogs, you know, he fought the guy, knocked him out, and threw the fishing rod out there. He's fishing for the big dogs. So, yes, his father is definitely trainer of the year, along with the late, great Gary Russell Sr. And Gary Russell Sr., rest in peace to him, made history, and he still lives on through his sons. His youngest is going to be fighting next weekend at the Barclays Center against a former world champion, Gary Polo, Twan the Dawn, Antoine Russell, undefeated, all knockouts, 140-pounder. Probably be within the next year and a half, probably fighting for a 140-pound championship. Probably fighting for a 140-pound championship. And that will be not 1, but 2 of the late, great Gary Russell's sons that will be world champions. And then we can't forget about Antonio, another undefeated. I believe he campaigns at 118. He's high up there. I think he's top 10, maybe. I got to look it up. I know he's definitely top 10 in the WBA. So I had to give the award to Gary Sr., rest in peace, and also Bozy Ennis, man. Because what they was able to do with their sons, just phenomenal, man. Because, like, I look at the whole body of work. I don't look at, and now I'm going to break down why the criteria, why I gave it to these guys. Because, like I said, the popular pick would have been Derrick James, right? It would have been Derrick James. Like, that's what you see all of the channels and everything. They always highlight Derrick. But when you think about it, right? A lot of Derrick's lower tier fighters, like, where are they now? Like Brody Brooks. Remember Brody Brooks? Where is he at now? He was the top prospect. See, those are the type of things I take in consideration. Yes, Frank Martin is his fighter, but Frank Martin wasn't his fighter. Frank Martin, you know, if you know the business, right? Sometimes you are forced to work with people. I'm not saying that that's the situation there, but like when you sign underneath people, this is just I'm giving you the back ends of the business, right? Sometimes when you sign with promotional companies or you sign with managers, you have to work with their people. They might have their trainer that you have to work with. That's why I love father sons, because father sons tandems, it's hard to break that. But when you are an amateur coach and you coach a kid up through the ranks in the amateurs and they go to turn pro and they sign, sometimes when they sign, the amateur coach always gets left behind. It's been like that forever in this game, man. It's unfortunate. It's a dirty part of the game, but it is what it is. That's why the two guys I gave coach of the year to, I watched them. I literally watched them. I studied them from the amateurs to the pros. You know, if Boots' last two losses, I believe, are to Antoine Russell, Polo, right? To qualify for the 2016 Olympics. That's the last time he tasted defeat, because then he turned pro after that. And I watched, like I said, I study these guys. I'm in constant communication with Boozy, my guy, and like I said, I studied these guys. I watched them take their sons from the amateurs to the pros. You know, like I said, rest in peace to the late Gary Russell Sr. Gary Russell Jr. was a world champion, one of the longest reigning WBC champions. Some say he took a controversial loss. And you see, God doesn't like ugly, because the guy that beat him just lost his title. Just lost his title that fast. You know, see, the boxing guys don't honor certain stuff. But yes, those are the coaches right there, man. Like I said, salute to both of them. Rest in peace to the late great Unc. You know, phenomenal teacher, trainer. You know, a lot of he not only his sons, right, but a lot of DMV fighters out that area definitely learned a lot from Gary Sr. And now his legacy lives on through his sons. I think Gary is taking over the ranks, as well as Gary Allen, his other son. And I can't wait to see them next week. You know the vibes. But let's move on to another category I have. You know, like I said, fighter of the year already. Comeback fighter was Jamel Charlo. You know, undisputed champion. Let's go to the top prospect. I know everybody's going to say, oh, it's Jihad Tucker. Not yet. But you guys know the Tucker sauce. You guys know the Tucker sauce. You know who my top prospect is? I don't know if you can call him a prospect, but it's Big Baby. The real Big Baby, Jared Anderson. We all heard the rumors. And I have it on my page. I asked him when we was in Vegas, off the record, on the record. He spoke on it, but we could all speak on it now, because Tyson Fury himself has come out and said that the 3 fights with Deontay Wilder, that Jared Big Baby Anderson got him ready. So he is my prospect of the year. He's coming off an injury, but he got a fight day coming up, man. Fight day. Very skilled heavyweight. Could move, punch. Big guy. And he also had the coldest ring entrance, inspired by the sauce. You know, we was on the elevator together, and I told him, when I seen he had the mink, he had the, rest in peace, the Pimp C. You know, he's an Ohio player, Toledo in the building. I was talking to his coach. See, I know a lot of coaches. Shout out to Coach Darryl Riley, my guy. And we was on the elevator, and I was like, yo, man, you got to strut out there. I was like, what song you coming out to? And he told me a song. I was like, yo, that's a little upbeat. But I was like, yo, strut, bro. I was like, you got to strut, man. You're going to kill it. And sure enough, he did. That was on the Richard Comey, the Richard Comey, Lomachenko. I was about to call him Sergey Domachenko. Sergey Domachenko was probably talking about me. But yes, he is my prospect of the year. The sky's the limit with that dude. I can see a future fight with him and Big Shot. Sure. He looked good in his last fight too. Shout out to him, man. But I just, maybe down the line, but I see they're setting that up. I've spoken with some people. That is probably a future clash over there, for the top rank, because both of them are on the top ranked side. And Big Shot, sure, managed by Split T Management, David McWaters. Shout out to David McWaters. That's definitely a fight down the line, because both of them have ambitions of being a heavyweight champion, and there can only be one. Yes, he's my prospect of the year, man. Very skillful, man. I was at his bubble fight when he had the Chucky he had the Chucky set up at the bubble in February of last year. Man, he looks good, man. He had a hand injury, but he's back now. So I can't wait to see him in action. You know, I had the privilege of watching him spar when I was in Vegas, and man, he's the goods, man. He's everything advertised. I know you hear the stories, and you know, sometimes you hear them, sometimes you don't, because depending on what channels you frequent, you might hear about him, you might not. Because one thing I learned about the YTC, it's a lot of favoritism, gibberish. You know, that's why I started the gibberish volumes and things of that nature. And a lot of channels are payola channels. Like Sauce, what do you mean by payola channels? They want to be paid and to promote fighters or talk about fighters. You know, that's why you see certain fighters on certain channels are more spoken about and pushed, so to say. But yes, that is my prospect of the year. Women's fighter of the year. It was a tough one. This was a tough one, man. You had a lot of women do major things, from Jessica McCaskill to the diva Fran. I had to go with her, man. I'm gonna tell you why. Remember, she lost to Clarissa Shields. I think that was that her pro debut. Was like, or was it a second fight? She lost to Clarissa. For her to bounce back and make history, she was on that Amanda Soriano, Katie Taylor card. They were staying at the Stewart Hotel. I witnessed the fight week. I got a lot of footage of her behind the scenes, and I seen the impact that she has on the young girls in the sport. And you know, for her to fight her way from defeat to now becoming undisputed champion, she's my woman fighter of the year, hands down. It was a toss up between her and Alicia Baumgardner, but it was like, do I want to have Alicia Baumgardner because she looks good as my fighter of the year? You got to take stuff like that into consideration. The typical, because right now I got my radio hat on, so I am a journalist slash boxing enthusiast right now. I'm not the marketing media agent. I'm doing my Sauce radio flow right now. So I had to take that into consideration, right? As a journalist of the sport, right? The UGK, underground journalist of the sport. So I said, man, I know Alicia look good, man. She's fine. But I can't give her that because she's fine. That's just like Raquel Miller. Raquel Miller is fine. But I couldn't give her fight of the year, even though she's about to be back in action. Shout out to Miss Pretty Beast. So I said, I weighed out what Fran did, what she did, what Jessica did. And I just like where Fran took her from. Like, Fran came from defeat to get back to the top. Appreciate you, Travis Bryan, in the building. Fight of the year. The fight of the year, G-Ray. Now, that's a no-brainer, too. You had a lot of epic battles, right? A lot of epic battles, right? To me, the fight of the year. That's why when they gave Tyson Fury fight of the year, I was like, you know what? Maybe so. The trilogy, the last fight with him and Deontay Wilder is my fight of the year. I'm going to tell you why. Deontay Wilder in defeat earned more respect for me than he did with any of his knockouts. I've been to so many of them. Dominic Brazil's, a lot of his classics at the Barclays. But in defeat, him going out on his shield, getting put to sleep, I just see him in a different light. That's why sometimes, like they said, a loss could be a victory. That was the fight of the year because Deontay Wilder dropped Tyson Fury twice in that fight. He hit him with that right hand and the delayed reaction. Yeah, that's Joe Harris boxing will call the spine rattler. Deontay Wilder hit him with the electricity. And you seen the fat. You know the jelly rolls that he got on the side? Yo, the jelly roll shook. And then he went down like a grizzly bear, polar bear. Timber! got up and got dropped again and got up, man. So that's my fight of the year, man. Hands down. I was going to get to that. That fight was epic. Two Goliaths, the heavyweights, man. Two Goliaths, just Wilder going out the way he went out, man. But, man, that was probably the best. Out of all three of the fights, that probably was the best one. The first one was controversial. It was good. The second one, it was like, once again, it was like, you had the glove gate, the poisoning, and all that. So it kind of took from it. But the third one, man, great fight, man. Wilder went out how he wanted to go out on his shield. But he was in it to win it, man. He landed that bomb, man. Dropped him twice, man. And Wilder got off the canvas to do that, man. That was epic. It just, what that fight reminded me of? The classics, Riddick Bowe and Holyfield. Great wars. And neither one of them was the same after those fights, man. I want to see how Wilder comes back looking. But yeah, that was my fight of the year. Definitely was my fight of the year. Promotional company of the year. I know I'm going to get some flack for this. I got to go with Top Rank, man. Top Rank put on mad shows, right? Mad good competitive shows. Like their fight cards from top to bottom, good cards, man. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a team member of a Top Rank fighter. Because like I just told you, I was at the Tiafimo fight. I was at the Jessica, Amanda Soriano event. I was at the Melee at the Barclay. Look, you hear me rhyming? The Melee at the Barclay. You know what that is? The event. So it's like I'm just going off of what I'm experiencing. This is the Sauce Experience. So yeah, it's Top Rank, hands down, man. Top to bottom, their cards are stacked. Like, one thing I can say about the Top Rank undercard fights, right? Shout out to Bruce and Brad Goodman. Those are the matchmakers over there. Very competitive fights. Like the Shushu Carrington's fight in March. He got the crazy knockout. I think the undercard, and I'm not just saying that because Jihad was on that undercard, but the undercard to me was better than the main event. Like when Edgar fought, I was across the street at the Stewart already. I watched Edgar's fight because my daughters was with me, and I wanted to put them down. We want to gossip and stuff. I watched Edgar's fight in the suites. I went across the street because like the undercard did it for me. Like Jihad had a great fight with Tracy. I can't think of his last name. And then Shushu's knockout was like electric. The undercard fights on Top Rank, they're doing their thing, man. And I'm not just saying that because I know you guys are like, oh, you don't like the PBC. It has nothing to do with that, man. I'm talking about as a consumer, somebody that if I'm going to pay money for a seat, a ticket, and I want to see competitive fights, it's Top Rank. Because I was at the Melee. I was at the Melee, right? I was at the Melee at the Barclay. The undercard was just terrible. Terrible. It's like, come on, when fighters are being moved and when they're building fighters. Because some of these guys that they put on these undercards to fight these young prospects, like how did you get a license? Who got paid underneath the table from the commission? Because you really shouldn't be fighting. You really shouldn't be fighting. You shouldn't be fighting at all. Oh, upset of the year, Top Rank card. Just recently, Josue Vargas getting stopped by the lone wolf, getting knocked out. Here's Josue, the problem of Vargas. He was a young up and coming prospect. Granted, Jose Cepeda cleaned them. But Jose Cepeda's a hitter. But now he fought a journeyman. He had a fight prior to that, get his confidence back. Then they put him in there with a journeyman, a lone wolf I think he's from West Virginia. I can't think of his real name, but he goes by the lone wolf. He stopped. I was there. He stopped the problem, Josue Vargas. This was a kid that was signed to Mayweather Promotions at one time. They had big plans for him, man. Big plans for him. So yes, to me, it was the upset of the year. The upset of the year, because this was a kid that they was touting to be a champion at one point. And now we was speaking about him last fight week. He might be done, man. He's kind of chinny, man. He was looking good. And shout out to my boy Andrew. Me, Andrew, Coach Andre, Rozier, Coach Terry, Champ 5. Well, we was, man, I was like, yo, I don't know, man. I don't know. He got knocked off by a journeyman. So, yes, that was my upset of the year. Let me get to some of these comments. Shout out to World Combat in the building. He said, yes, sir. Andrew Charles in the building. He said, every fight on that undercard had a great finish. Yeah. Oh, dope finish. Yes, that was my upset of the year right there, D-Way. Josue the problem. Vargas, man. Damn. Kid got skills, too, man. You know, but that's what they said. Sometimes a knockout would do it for you. You know, in a close second, my fight of the year, too, close second. And this is for all y'all that say I don't like PBC. Erickson Lubin and the Inferno. That was one hell of a fight, man. One hell of a fight, man. Erickson Lubin showed tremendous heart, man. Tremendous heart in that fight. That was a close second of fight of the year. You know, Erickson Lubin just waited too long to make the adjustments. By the time he made the adjustments, he was too swolled up. But, man, that was a great fight, though. That's a close second for fight of the year. Fight of the year, definitely. You know, Erickson Lubin, the Inferno. You know, Erickson Lubin dropped him, man. At the drop. Those are good fights, man. When you can come off the canvas and then drop your opponent, man, that says a lot about you. Definitely says a lot about you. Shows you have a lot of heart and tenacity. You know, this is the Sauce Awards, though, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see, I'm explaining some of my picks, you know, and the reason why I went that route with these picks. You know, Sauce Experience Radio. Yeah, I was just listening to the ice cream truck. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Y'all probably can, right? Because the mic is right here by the window. The ice cream truck rolling through. Trying to get all the parents' money. You know? But yes, Top Rank definitely was the promotional company of the year. Great. Yo, they've been putting on spectacular shows to this day right now. Up to date. Up to par. You know? Good fight cards. Back to back to back, you know. Matchroom was trying to keep up, so was PBC. Golden Boy, you know. See, Golden Boy, you know, Golden Boy's Golden Boy. I know I seen the fight, a little off the topic real quick, but I seen the Fight Hype interview that Floyd did, talking about making sacrifices and fighting. Tank's only fighting at 135. We'll see what happens with that, man. Let's see what happens. But Floyd absolutely correct on that. Tank is the shot caller in that fight. So, you know, you got to make the sacrifices. Definitely like that. Man, this microphone sounds wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. You know, got the fan in here. You probably can hear the fan keeping it nice and cool. You know, I'm on the laptop. Yeah, this was the Sauce Awards, man. You know, shout out to the ESPYs for inspiring me to come up with a little creative juices flowing. Also, shout out to the Boxing Voice. You know, oh my God, Reggie Owens in the building, man. You know, salute to Reggie Owens. Definitely check him out, man. Reggie covers everything from boxing, current events, a little bit of that. Definitely check Reggie Owens out, man. Very educated brother, man. You know, and he stays on Fred Hawthorne bumper. You know, he's been exposing Fred lately. You know, shout out to Reggie Owens, man. Yo, I gotta say this, right, Reggie? I was watching. Was it today? I think today. Yeah, today. The classic joints with H Money, man. H Money is a character, man. He's a funny guy, man. That shit had me crying with him and dude. and he was talking about beating dude up. He's like, I'm gonna knock your drunk ass out. Yeah, Ace Money's a funny guy. He said, "You've been knocked out before. Look at you." Oh man, that should have me crying today, man. Dope stuff. But yeah, shout out to the Boxer Voice. The Boxer Voice really inspired us and helped me create this content today, because I was watching that interview with Bill Haney, and I was saying to myself, yeah, Bill could be coach of the year, but he's definitely manager of the year. How he navigated Devin's career is next to none, man. 7 years, man. In 7 years, going from Mexico, Showbox, to Matchroom, to Top Rank, Undisputed, man. That's like, yo, that's a book. That's a book, man. That's a book. So, and that's dope for the other young guys coming up, man. Because what Devin and Bill was able to do, they killed that whole that whole narrative that he's not ready, he's green. Wait your turn. 23 years old, man. 23 years old, man. And I also want to say he didn't get an award, but he could have been in an award category. Shakur Stevenson, shout out to Shakur, unified champion. Young hitter, definitely. And who gets the award for having the best events? Sometimes they get a little chaotic. It's definitely Tank Davis. The melee at the Barclay, but he's selling out arenas. Tank. So Tank gets the event award. For putting on a spectacular event. That's part of the entertainment, right? So yes, Tank Davis gets the event. Fighter with the best event award is Javante Tank Davis. Because one thing about Mayweather Promotions, Leonard Ellaby, Floyd Mayweather, they know how to put on an event. Yes, so Tank Davis definitely gets that award. But yes, those were the Sauce Awards. I'm going to wrap this up because you know what time it is. It's 6:07. I know the guys are looking for me down at the I've been down there heavy lately, putting on shooting displays. If you've seen some of my IG videos, I still got the jumper from deep. The Sauce still got the skills. So definitely gonna go pull up on the gym. It's Thursday, it's a sparring night. One thing about the Sauce, I never miss the sparring sessions. You get front row seats. Sometimes you get great treats. Some like I said, we have in our gym 4 ringmasters, 1 national champion. We also have the young LeBron Dawn, Jihad Tucker. And I've seen countless of Jihad sparring sessions against the likes of Hitchison, Comey, Sergey Domachenko, you name them, man. I seen that. That's why I said I'm blessed, man. When it comes to like covering boxing, doing boxing, man, I get to see a lot. For free too, for free. I get like I said, I'm gonna just share a quick insight before I chop it all the way down, right? Appreciate that. Salute to you as well, Reggie. Appreciate that. I remember watching Jihad Tucker spar Trayvon Marshall, the sniper. He's an undefeated 154-pounder over there on the PBC side from DC. Look him up. Trayvon Marshall. He could fight. Him and Jaleel Hackett. Listen, that probably was one of the most epic spar sessions that I've seen. Like these are all 3 of them young. I think if I'm not mistaken, Trayvon might be the oldest one. He might be like 22 or 23. But both Jihad and Jaleel were teenagers. They're still teenagers. I think both of them are 19. But they was like, Jihad was pro already. I think we was 3 fights in. But he was still 17 at the time. And Jaleel didn't turn pro yet, but he was signed to Mayweather. Man, if you could have witnessed that sparring session, right? And I told them, I said, yo, one day you guys are really going to fight, and you guys are going to fight for millions. Because that's what, listen, that was $1 million sparring session, man. And for guys that be in the gyms that get to witness things like that, cherish that, man. Cherish that, because the typical boxing fan will never experience that, don't know nothing about that. So when you hear me always say the Sauce Experience, that type of stuff I'm talking about. That was like, listen, did you hear the names I just ran off? All three of those guys are undefeated. All three of them are young, undefeated fighters. Trayvon Marshall's just coming off a knockout, an impressive knockout, and at the Armory. He fought on the Armory. But man, they had an epic. I'll tell you, it was an epic sparring session, man. Epic. The DC boys came up here to Connecticut, and there was a couple Philly fighters in there. I can't record their names, so I don't want to fumble their names and fuck them up. But it was, man. I said sometimes just being in the gym, being a media market, man, you get to see and witness some epic stuff, man. Epic. But yes, salute to the chat, man. Like I said, World Combat Sports, Andrew Charles, Boxing Conversations with my brother Reggie Owens, D-Ray Promotions as well. I'm going to try to come back on later on tonight after I get back from the gym, and give y'all another source. Because I seen some stuff that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to do an award show today because I seen the ESPYs and I was like, nah, man, you guys disrespected Devin and Charlo, man. I know definitely wasn't going to get a ESPN award. That's how he, came at Mike Coppinger, who was an ESPN employee. But Devin Haney definitely should have got that, man. Devin put on, man. At 23 years old, he left the conference of his own soil, traveled to a foreign land, and became the man. Hopefully y'all caught and enjoyed this sauce. You know the vibes. Yaga, Zaga, Ahala. Close us out, baby girl. Let my daughter shine like always. Let them know Coach Reen on the scene.
Like, subscribe, and hit that bell.